Let me just remind you a bit of where the boat is and where the boat's been going. Many of the viewers of the channel are from France and England, so they'll find this a bit laborious. Last week we sailed from Saint-Quay-Porteau to Jersey. We had left France and entered the United Kingdom, but we had barely scratched the surface of the English Channel. The Channel Islands are actually located in a bay that looks like France to me, but the history tells another story. Join us while we hang out with the Channelians, the demonym for people from the Channel Islands, and learn the history of the war and how the Normans made it into a part of England. We rented 2 bikes from the marina and did a circumnavigation of the island. We learned a little of the history, the geography, and why electric bikes are very useful on hills. But before we leave this map, I just want to re-emphasize how close the Channel Islands, Jersey, Guernsey, Alderney, and such, are to France, and how far away they are from the island of Great Britain. Let's start our Jersey history lesson in 933, when William Longsword, and I think his cousin Short Dagger, claimed the island as part of Normandy. Normandy is a precursor to France, so why is the island part of the United Kingdom? Well, the hint is 1066. Yes, the date William the Conqueror crossed the Channel to take over what we think now of England. William the Conqueror was a Norman, and so, rightfully, he kept his Norman island, Jersey, and thus Jersey and England became connected. In 1204, the English crown returned the Norman assets to the French crown. But guess what? They kept Jersey, and it still can self-determine many things that other parts of the UK can't. The statue to the crapaud, which is toad in French. Yep, crapaud. So this cross, which is known as the Queen's Cross, or the Croix de la Reine, was installed in 1977 for Queen Elizabeth. It's kind of like an unlimited supply of boots in this town. Seems like there's something wrong with their harbor. Totally designed for drying out. Look at those little twin stubby routers, and the keel's away. Jersey did switch from Catholicism to Protestantism at the same time the Church of England was breaking away from the Vatican. Okay, so I know the question the Americans are dying to ask. Why is it called New Jersey? Well, the short answer, the state is named after Jersey, but I can't give you the short story. Hello, Gail. Ice cream done. Okay. You can watch the video as we circumnavigate the island on our bikes, and while I tell you the story of New Jersey. This is John Carteret. The de Carteret family has had a huge influence on the island of Jersey since the 10th century. Yeah. They originally lived in Normandy and quite wisely sided with William the Conqueror. This would set them up for success. Renaud de Carteret went on pilgrimage. After looting a bit of the Middle East, he returned to Jersey and decided to invade one of the towns and make it his own. Car ahead! Then one of his descendants decided to found, if that's what you want to call it, nearby island of Sark. His name is quite important. It's Helier, which, well, is the city we originated this trip from. Now here's the part that's important for people from New Jersey. That includes you, Bruce Springsteen. Fast forward a few generations to the great-grandson of the previously mentioned Helier de Carteret. George de Carteret became a prominent royalist. And guess what? Friend of King Charles II. This would help a lot. Because Sir George Carteret had been faithful to Charles II in his time of need, he was given a little bit of booty. This booty was New Jersey. Well, some land located there. He thought of the name. He gets no points for creativity. After lunch, we can discuss modern-day Jersey and a bit about World War II. Not sure about locking just yet. I'm gonna go all the way to the Hungry Man. The only choice for bike rentals in St. Helier was an electric bike. So we took the bikes, and I announced early on that I would never use the electric feature. The bike, by the way, weighs 55 pounds. My bike at home weighs less than 18 pounds. When climbing this hill, the opportunity to press the button became so tempting. Oh man, I'm tempted to hit the power. I'm still in off mode. Yeah. Jersey has an annual hill climb contest where sports cars race up the hills of Jersey to see who's champion. This car was done as run for the day, but was proving he's horrible at doing three-point turns. As we continue to bike around the island, you might be curious to know, what is the Jersey economy based on? About 40% of the economy are banks. The reason for that is it benefits from an offshore status. Let's not get into the details. Well, we're about 2/3 done our ride today, and we've made it to the far western coast of the island with the goal of visiting a World War II museum. Despite sleeping on the boat, being at sea on the boat, generally looking at the sea most of the time, it's curious why on a bike ride I get so excited to have a high view and to be able to look out at the sea. A right turn onto the gravel path and we get to go see the Channel Islands Museum. There you go, one of the forts from years ago. Previously, when I've learned history of World War II, the Germans were supposed to have been nicer in the Channel Islands. Well, after visiting the Channel Islands Museum, nicer is not nice. It was a hard time for the Channel Islanders as they were occupied for most of the war by the Germans. I found the ID cards on the wall haunting and showing a horrible past.
Occasionally the men would get a permit to fell a tree and they'd bring home some green wood which wouldn't burn very well, but if we picked up a piece of wood, it was a help.
The Germans fortified much of the Jersey coast, preparing for an invasion.
It's hard to turn these bikes, isn't it?
Yeah. I think this is us, Gail. This is a nice bit. Look at the size of some of those pads. So far, Jersey had revealed a little bit of its agricultural tradition, but the Jersey cow was not seen. For 3 days, we have looked high and far for the cow and have seen none. You went 20 meters too early. Look up that hill. So I think this might be...
I think this takes us all the way into town.
So we're set from here on in?
Yeah.
Life's grand.
Yeah.
Remember, it's British driving rules, so bike on the left side of the road, otherwise you'll have a head-on. You can hear Gail's bell going off as she tries to warn two Muppets that are creating a road hazard and have poor bike handling skills.
It's fun. It's a little busier than I would have imagined, the roads.
Were they?
Yeah.
Where did you go?
Well, where you told us to go on like the A road around there, it was just like traffic's going really quickly. I had imagined there was going to be more like cycle path stuff. The best part was coming back on St. Audit's Bay.
Okay.
Because we had like a dedicated cars go pretty quickly here.
We've gotten here a bit early as we can't get to the island without a craft or wet feet. Neolithic man made this burial cave some 4,500 years ago. The Norse name for it is Hougue, which we know to mean mound, but the second word be, we don't know what it means. It has been used for religious functions, a place to measure the equinox, and finally a lookout point during World War II.
Then the links must have changed, people must have changed, and then the whole thing was desanctified, if you will, and covered up. In the chamber they found bones, human, men and women, not skeletons, they were scattered, animal bones, some pottery.
I get to return to full height. Quite dark in here.
Yeah.
Is there anything behind that big stone?
A chamber or something.
Commemorates the Slavic people who the Germans used in horrible ways to make military institutions here in the Channel Islands. This is a Neolithic longhouse that was built recently by volunteers. It took 2 years and they tried to make it as accurately as possible. Let me think this through. You build a building out of straw, but you also use straw to start a fire. Doesn't seem like a great combo to have a fire inside the straw. What's the name of this castle again?
Mont, Orgueil.
Mont Orgueil is the English pronunciation of this castle, and it has a great story. You remember how we talked about in 1066 the Normans came to take over part of England, and then thus the Norman territories in northern France became part of England. But the tides shifted, and Philip II was part of it. Philip II was the French king and invaded Normandy to reintegrate it with France. Mount Orgueil Castle was built to prevent Philip II from also taking Jersey. For 400 years, this castle prevented the French from taking Jersey. The artist Brian Fell made this sculpture in 2014. It is comprised of individual sculptures that are sea creatures. Halibut for feet and squid for hair. What could be better? Well, shoulder blades made of crab and fish made of elbows. Is this a chandlery or a museum? Oh, I do enjoy looking at different shackles. All of these shackles are still in use.
Shipbuilding was a huge industry in Jersey in the 19th century. In 1860, Jersey was the fourth largest ship producer in the British Isles. Many Jersey families made substantial fortunes from shipbuilding and trading goods, particularly in the Newfoundland cod trade. For passengers, new steamship links provided a much faster, more regular and reliable service.
So this ensign is called a defaced red ensign. Red is obvious, and the defacement is the fact that the St. Helier Yacht Club was allowed to put its logo onto it, and it was in respect for their efforts in World War II.